All right, let's what is it? Let's see this video real quick of MatPat.
Everything from online privacy, responsible use of AI, addictive algorithms, protection of children on the internet, the list goes on and on.
We are here for the big names and the niche stars. It's a great opportunity to be able to partner with the industry as opposed to trying to define the industry.
Honestly, I think he'd be great to know like a lot of these things because this man does do a lot of like deep research. Even though I never really watched MatPat's content, but he does do deep research and things like that into such. You know what's crazy is that he did deep research on like things are like considered trivial, I guess you can say, right? But I'm like, what if you gave this dude who would do research on like very trivial things that really don't really, I guess, to me personally doesn't really matter. But if you give him like things to discover for like politics and things like that, I think it'd be very interesting to see where that goes.
Guys, it has finally happened. A YouTuber has actually done something that could benefit society, apart from charity streams. I know a lot of YouTubers do charity streams, and that is for a very good cause. But
Didn't Vitali try to be like in politics as well? But because of like what was it? Because of his dong being on the internet is what ended his career. From what I've heard, and I saw images of it, that apparently he was part of some sort of fake taxi sort of thing. But I mean, I saw images of it. I didn't watch the video. I saw images. Believe me, don't believe me, but still.
But let's ignore charity for a second. This YouTuber has plans for a congressional clause that basically protects and fosters policy surrounding creators. And of course, it is the king of game theories, MatPat. MatPat, I would like to say, on behalf of all creators, thank you for protecting our bank accounts. I kneel, MatPat. Now, I will be honest with you, YouTube
Oh, well, that's a banger shirt, to be honest. That's a great shirt.
retirement, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some people leave the platform and they basically never return.
Yeah.
You know, they have a humble life. They leave the internet. Like, for example, PewDiePie, who only uploads a video when he has a NordVPN sponsor. And then you've got other YouTubers that never retire and they
Bro, yeah.
keep uploading until they get old and wrinkly and their channel falls off, which is what's happening to me right now. But what you really don't expect is...
Hey, man, what is it? If it works, it works, There's definitely a lot of YouTubers out there. As long as they put out a video, people will watch them because it's like they like what they say and things like that. If as long as like any topic or whatever, which is great. If that's a dream for any YouTuber to be on. So they just put out a video and people watch it, and no matter how it is, what is it, great or what is how good or bad. That it is kind of like, I mean, I kind of see it that way for like Charlie's, for Critical's videos, because it's like it's very minimal of like production for his thing, but hey, he makes it work for him, so awesome.
Is an e-celeb to actually get involved in politics. I've just sat here for like 2 minutes realizing that is the stupidest statement I have ever said in my life. I genuinely think that political grifting is probably one of the most profitable things you can do online right now. Now, MatPat,
hell yeah,
the former host of game theory, film theory, style theory, food theory, he's actually delved into the world of politics in hopes to create a legislation for better working conditions for online creators. Because as you guys know, as a YouTuber, my life is very hard. I get up at 3 in the afternoon. I speak words to a camera for 10 minutes that's way too expensive for the quality of these videos. Same with this microphone. And then I send it off to an editor.
No, it's not only that, but yet you're using the natural sun. You're using what is it? A lighting of the sun. What is it, to light up your room and your camera, so that's why you look kind of a little overexposed.
Who does 90% of the work. You really don't understand how difficult it is, guys. So on the 10th of June, MatPat actually put out a tweet making a pretty big announcement to anyone that didn't know. New quest, Washington, D.C. After 2 years of work, Steph and I have just launched the Creator Economy Caucus in the House of Representatives, a bipartisan group where creators can work alongside lawmakers to ensure legislation is timely and relevant for the internet age. We've already got 10 reps on board. We're just getting started. We'll eventually want to assemble creator data advocates from around the country. So if you're interested in helping Washington understand our world, stay tuned here for more info. Okay, like you're watching a
All right. So I think he gave already examples from the beginning, but I would like to, but I wonder if Pyro actually shows the actual things that he wants to do. Because it is very interesting because I do think there should be, you know, regulations and things like that for like you know, like for some things for like content creators and things like that, because the thing about it is that like a content creation is being such like a massive thing now, for what is it for a lot of people to do and such. So it is not exactly, I would think something like this, I think wouldn't be that abnormal either. um but yeah, I mean, but in the same time it's like, well, sometimes when regulation is done, they could be overreaches and stuff. Which I'm glad that MatPat's like behind it, because he's pretty damn reasonable with the things that he does and things like that. And on top of that, knowing that he's been a content creator for so many years now, so at least, you know, I would think at best they got someone who actually understand the way how this system works, instead of just this washed up 70-year-old that's like, yeah man, what is it, back in my day where we're using typewriters, what is it, to do our essays. It's like, bro, what?
Daily Slop channel, the research here isn't going to be anything amazing, but to anyone that isn't kind of in the political sphere, a caucus, or a congressional caucus in this case, it's a political organization composed of politicians, and they basically try to group together behind a single issue that they all agree with. This can be something politicians feel really strongly about, or an issue that really heavily relates to their individual constituents. You have big caucuses like the Freedom Caucus, the Congressional Equality Caucus, but then you have very niche ones like, for example, the Congressional Cement Caucus, or the Friends of Wales Caucus. I don't know why you'd want to be friends with anyone in Wales, but that's on you. Also, I'd like to say we have a restock of merch. We have caps, tees, hoodies.
Well, I mean, literally one of the biggest VTubers, Iron Mouse, I think she is the biggest VTuber, I think, is literally best friends with the what is it, with the Welshman. So yeah,
I say it every video. I know I do. All right, but
I'm like pointing as if I'm like
pointing
pointing as if like you can see me move my hand.
Oh, I got to talk about American politics for this.
They should switch his shirt.
Kill me. So they've got a pretty rigid two-party system. You vote Democrat or Republican. That's pretty much it. You can vote a third party. Yeah, all right. You keep telling yourself that. It's like someone in the UK saying they're voting Green for like greater change. Yeah, they'll never get in. I think in the UK, the only place that consistently actually always holds a green seat is Brighton, and that place is so progressive. All the Minecraft YouTubers moved there. But the point I'm trying to make is in a lot of European countries, you've got parties that are pretty numerous. It isn't just solely left and right. I mean, okay, it is. Come on, let's be real. But there's just like more of them to pick from. But if you have two parties full of members that differ heavily from each other, this is called big tent parties or catch-all parties. Okay. It's basically when one political party covers a large spectrum of ideas, ideologies. Are you learning something from a slut video? Cringe. But to whittle down the issues,
it's politics, bro. Politics is not just a one-way street. It's like, it's, you know, politics in a way, it's like entering an intersection, you know, like do you remember that part in like GTA 5 where we're in the highway, and like there's that one part where like it has like it has like what, like 7 or 8 different splits and things like that, where they all go from like different ways of like going into the traffic and such. You know, going into like the was it going off the highway into the city road and things like that. It's like that. Politics is like that. It's like it is complex. It is very, very like what is it? I was gonna what should I use? Diverse, I guess you can say. But like it's not exactly like a one-way street that people want to believe. It really isn't. It's just it looks like that. It looks like that highway, the highway in GTA 5, just bam right there. That's what that looks like. That's politics. Shit's just everywhere.
That these politicians actually care about, they join caucuses, and the caucus acts kind of like a party within a party, and they can really range in ideas. For example, the Blue Dog Coalition, that's formed of socially and fiscally conservative Democrats, and they often vote and legislate more right-wing or Republican than the more moderate sect of the Republican Party. So apart from all of this political wait a minute, dude, I have music playing in the background because it like helps me focus when I'm working. And bro, it came up with the PewDiePie song. Oh my god, holy
Oh my god.
nostalgia. I like the bit where he says share mode activate. That's my favorite bit.
Share mode activate.
Basically,
Bro, that is such throwbacks, my guy. Holy crap.
explained all this because what MatPat has done is created a party of people that have the same ideas and values for this specific.
I'll be honest with you, I completely forgot that PewDiePie had his own had his own music and things like that. Bro, that dude, that tells you how long that's been. I don't even want to think about it.
Thing without having to create a whole new independent party. You know, getting members elected, all that kind of hassle. He's basically skipped all of that. These are members that have basically already been elected by the public. And so they can band together to basically push the will of this caucus. He notes here as well that creators can basically work alongside politicians and lawmakers to basically ensure legislation is timely and relevant for the internet age. That's his quote. And this is something that caucuses actually have access to that a regular political party might not. You know, the ability to bring in like experts or specialists, basically trying to help push this policy. Now, I do want to say though, although people have been elected, it doesn't actually make politicians knowledgeable about every topic related to politics. So by having actual creators being involved, politicians who kind of aren't really up to date with the sphere of the internet can be influenced by people who do. And as we know, like boomers in Washington and stuff, they have a phone with like a big leather cover on it that's bigger than the phone itself. That's pretty much all I know.
There's that. They have their what is it? They have their caption what is it, with bold, and also they have the fonts increased to like the maximum. Yeah.
Need to say. Basically, these creators can come in and they can bring their thoughts and opinions, and they'll obviously know more about how the internet works. But on the other hand, the elected officials can actually bring the power to put these plans into action. You know, if they want to turn a certain demand into a legislation. Now, another part of the announcement which might get people caught on is the bipartisanship. Now, the fault lines in these ideas and politics and beliefs have definitely become more divided recently. But by making this bipartisan caucus, MatPat is essentially inviting people from both sides of the aisle to collaborate on this project. And during the announcement, you can definitely see that's what he's gone for. For example, currently you have Beth Van Doyen, who's a representative from Texas for the Republican Party, and Yvette Clarke, who's a representative from New York for the Democrat Party. Now, this isn't MatPat selling out to the Republicans or
No, like this is like, to him, he sees it like this isn't one of those things where I think some people will probably see it as like, oh, this is like what is a Republican or a Democrat and things like that. And like, no, the whole point what MatPat is doing is like he wants to get every person and all of the parties to be like, hey man, this isn't about you. What is it, your specific political party, because this won't affect your political party. This is mainly the people. This is more of like the main people more. It doesn't matter if the people are if they know about politics, or maybe they're, you know, if they know nothing about politics, and it's mainly about them instead of just one specific party and things like that, which I'm glad, you know, knowing that he got, you know, Texas very red, New York very blue. It is great that he's getting people from both political aisles to be affiliate to on his bill, I guess you could say, that he wants there to be written.
Even into the Democrats, although to be fair, he always talks like he went to theater school, so you can kind of guess which way he leans politically. I'm not even going to say anything. I know saying that is going to cause so much discourse in the comments.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, not that far off. Usually, yes, a lot of theater kids are pretty much Democrat.
The thing is, so many bills introduced get shot down because of just absolute nothing reasons. Usually because one party, they might like an idea, but because it will help the other party more, just out of spite, they're like, no, I don't think I will. But by being bipartisan, both parties, they can basically toe this middle line where hopefully neither side will see it as a partisan issue and support bills and policies if they see it as good for, you know, the greater whole, I guess. Now, I've seen some people online saying that MatPat is becoming a lobbyist or part of a lobbying group, and that has some like really negative connotations to it. The thing is, a congressional caucus is not actually the same as a lobbying group. Flat out, they are completely different things. A lobbying group is typically a business, or can be an individual person with a lot of money who basically pays elected officials to argue their case in court. If you're hearing
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Even though MatPat has garnered a lot of money, the amount of money that these politicians get compared to what MatPat has earned, yeah, they're getting dollars, and what MatPat has earned throughout YouTube is practically nickels. Like it's an absurd amount.
Hearing this for the first time, it sounds like bribery.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not think I was becoming political, Andy, for a Slop Live video. It basically is legal bribery. Now, there are a
Yeah.
lot of different ways that people can actually
Yeah.
lobby, but what people are accusing MatPat of doing here is insider lobbying. This is where you basically pay money to a lawmaker, judge, or a member of Congress to influence them to be on your side. Basically, think of it of that time where Aiden Ross gave Trump a Rolex and also a Cybertruck.
That's just terrible.
Now, this is very different to a congressional caucus for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, a caucus is formed inside the government by elected officials. It's not really as direct as private individuals flinging a bunch of money around. If you started throwing large sums of cash at people, then yeah, sure, that would be a little bit sus. And there's probably an argument to be made there. But by the sounds of it, he's basically just helped construct the caucus and will take an advisory role from there. And I think it's really good that MatPat is actually heading this because, again, you'd rather have a creator actually speak for creators and not just some boomer who doesn't even know how to unlock his phone. I mean, MatPat is an example of
It's exactly from what I said earlier. How do you feel about MatPat being part of the caucus for influencers? I think it's interesting to I'm interested to see where it goes. Because it is as I said earlier, it is better for someone like MatPat, who understands what it means to be a influencer. Um, there's someone than some sort of other than some other politician that is literally older than a fax machine. It's like it's I'll be interested to see where it goes for MatPat for being part of this caucus, this whole thing, because I do think that they really do need they really do need people, what is it, to be part of things like this, who really understand the way how these specific systems work, especially from what for what MatPat, I guess, is like wants to do, like Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, for example. I mean, like in the end, if it benefits them, then if it benefits like influencers like Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, I think either way, as long as it benefits everybody, who are influencers of things, I think it'd be great. Um, but I am interested to see what the things he wants to do, and what are the things he wants to do in his proposed bills and things like that. So that part I'm interested.
of a creator that became so successful that basically in his 30s he could retire and then hire other people to run his business for him. And I think it's good to actually have experts in the field brought forward. Now, there wasn't just a tweet announcement for this. The people I mentioned earlier, Beth Van Dyne and Yvette Clarke, actually hosted a speech where they declared their wants and their aims for this creator caucus. So the big point that they tried to bring up here is they want to see creators as a small business.
They are also being met with a plethora of challenges many entrepreneurs and small business owners face, such as access to capital and financial services, tax reporting and compliance, vocational training for creator economy jobs, data privacy, intellectual property and copyrights, platform accountability and algorithmic transparency, monetization, and payment transparency. To meet the
Honestly, that's all fair. Like really, that's all fair. And I don't really have and for them saying this, I'm like, oh, for her saying all this, like, yeah, I don't really see any of this as an issue. But okay, there's more still.
moment, their views and challenges must be heard by Congress in a meaningful and actionable way.
This would give creators who want to turn their channels into something bigger than just a channel the legal and financial means to be able to do so. This can invoke stuff like, for example, tax breaks or reshaping a creator-focused tax code. Wait a minute, does that mean less tax? Does this mean the rich people get more money? Wait a minute, I like MatPat now. It is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be something that'd be great, if there's a way to get more tax cuts and things like that, especially as influencers and such, because it is an independent business and all that stuff. But yeah, What is it? I mean, those two, Logan Paul in specific as example, that doesn't represent someone like you as an influencers. And I think no matter what, as someone that is that massive, um, like they're always gonna be out there because his name is out there because of how massive he is. But I think as long people say, I think as long, I think a lot of the majority probably can say, that Logan Paul doesn't represent me and things like that. I think it's fine. It's fine. But I do think that they shouldn't see one person like Logan Paul and Mr. Beast, because obviously, Mr. Beast, relatively does things for the good, while Logan Paul has done a lot of things that would, put a lot of negativity for what is it, for influencers. But I don't think that you should take these two specific to be like, oh, this is the reason why it should be legitimate because of because of these two, because of the dumb things that Logan Paul has done and the good things that Mr. Beast has done. It's like, no, you don't really see these two as like the primary example. You can't really do that. Um, because if you did that, there'll be plenty of other people. You'll probably see like what's that guy's name? Like Nick Fuentes. I think he's still on YouTube, I think. What is it? I think you'll see like Hassan and like Asmongold and all these other people, like like the people that are like influencers and things, not just them, but like plenty of others that are good or bad. You can't really see those ones in particular as like the primary examples. You got to see it as like as a whole. That's the reason why that the way how MatPat is doing is like he's mainly aiming this for what is it, for the majority of influencers, and not just for like the very specific, like larger or the large content creators. um I like black people, a loud minority. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, man. But yeah, it's like I don't really see I don't really see a problem with what MatPat wants to do. But I do think that people shouldn't really see Logan Paul and Mr. Beast as like the influencers and things like that, as like the yin and the yang. You know what I mean? So because at the end of the day, this is meant to help content creators, influencers, maybe even streamers and things like that, which I think it'll be great for people like us.
Though with a lot of countries, they don't actually know how to tax YouTubers or just content creators. Like if I fill in a visa to go to a different country, there's not even an option for a video creator. It's just like in the arts. Well, I'm an artist because I talk about slop every day. But I know a lot of people are saying this is just rich people protecting rich people, but they've also said that they don't want to focus on just the big names. They want to change the goalposts so it actually positively impacts all creators, even the smaller ones.
And that's what the heart of the Creators Caucus is. We are here for the big names and the niche stars, for the backyard inventors, the kitchen table podcasters, and the teachers who explain quantum physics using sock puppets.
So this does actually allude to much.
I'll be honest with you, that does sound pretty dope, to be honest with you. If I had, dude, I've had teachers that would do things that are like different than like what the normal ones would do, than like the traditional teaching. And to be honest with you, I've paid attention significantly more from that. Like it's like, it reminds me when what was it? I think it was uh man, it's such very specific reference. But it's that episode of Drake and Josh where I think Josh was helping Drake learn like math or something like that. And he was helping him study, and the way to do it was essentially playing guitar. And that helped, and that improved a lot, because that's something that he can understand, when it's viewed in this way, which is really interesting, because it's like a lot of people are like that. A lot of people can't learn the very traditional ways. So I think today now, um I think a little bit more today that people need to learn things in a very different manner, because the way how it used to be done, it's just so bland and outdated. And it just, and I'll be honest with you, the different ways of like, the from the various of ways that people have gone out of the way, to teach, to teach students and things like that in a way to garner more attention than just going instead of being like, oh, this is that. All right, guys, how are we gonna solve this equation today? What is it? How do you put? It's like it's boring, dude. That type of class, I'm just like, bashing my head, every single time. I'm like, bro, I don't like I just I like I can't. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. There's a teacher. What they said what he was doing physics, that teach people how all this works through sock puppets, and that's the way how people are learning. I'm like, bro, it's out there, but as long as people are learning, then it's all good. As long as the proper, as long as like the proper way of learning. But it's as long as they're learning the subject, they're understanding it. That's the whole point. But yeah,
much bigger plans than the original caucus, other than helping, big
Caucus.
creators pay their taxes. At this point, we can only really theorize something, a game theory, but we could be seeing things like, for example, the regulation of AI content or IP laws against taking someone's video, because as you know,
AI is absolutely going to get regulated, because I think maybe this was done already, but supposedly Warner Bros, DreamWorks, I think Disney, they've already sent cease and desist to AI and things like that. It's absolutely going to get heavily regulated for things like that. It's going to be great. But of course I know, but what these, what MatPat wants to do. But yeah, just saying, just adding that.
no, as you've probably seen, I don't know if you want to open up YouTube Shorts after this video and take a little scroll, but I guarantee you in less than 30 seconds, you will have either a bot that's re-uploaded a clip from a film or a TV show, or just someone running around Minecraft
Facts,
parkour
dude.
with a text-to-speech Reddit post that was read. With the inclusion of AI, as AI can have many uses, which I'll think about later, the entire point is there is so much AI slop on the
Well, it's like you could use AI to look up certain things, like in general statistics and things like that, like raw numbers and such. Like you could use AI for like a lot of those things. Um, but yeah, these ones in particular, yeah, like it's crazy because people call us slop tubers because we're reactors and all that stuff. It's like, bro, there are people out there that are so even more lazier than me that use AI to do their content for them. It's like, bro, am I Cop or something? Am I just as sloppy as Cop or something? Like, no, man. Like, even though sure I may not be like a lavish editor and things like that, because I'm still technically learning a lot of what is along the way how some of the things work, but I'm like, but I'm not these guys, you know.
platform right now. And unfortunately, that's probably burying a lot of creators that would have been recognized without that saturation. And because at the minute, a lot of people are dictated by the platform that they actually upload on. YouTube makes a rule, everyone has to obey it. We make some videos, we cry about it, we get a couple $100 crying about it. We still have to abide by it though. And also at the minute, there's not really any legal protections for YouTubers. I mean, think back to the Adpocalypse, the PewDiePie bridge incident. That was so catastrophic, and it led to probably a lot of people flat out losing their livelihood or being pushed off the platform because they just weren't making enough money because YouTube basically.
What's crazy about that is like, who would have ever thought that slop tubers that were considered bottom of the barrel, and yet somehow in some way there was actually a way that someone achieved using AI to even, what is it, to do these videos and things, and yet that is even surpassing bottom of the barrel. It's like, bro, amazing. Of course, there's always something that will go past, that will always go past, bottom of the barrel. But man, I really thought slop content was bottom, but man, someone really discovered how to really make that go, what is it, really how to make it more deeper. Like, wow.
shit the bed, and a bunch of big advertisers pulled out to protect their own brand. If there was a law protecting us back then, that wouldn't have happened, or if it did happen, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as severe. But the one thing I really do respect from this whole endeavor is this line.
I think by creating a caucus, by giving us an opportunity to have a platform where we're discussing it, where we're going to be inviting, people who actually do this for a living.
Bro, you got, what is it? You got Pokemon in the background here. I just barely noticed. Yeah, you got Pokemon. Who's this guy? I'll be honest with you. I don't know if these other people are supposed to be. I don't think these others are content creators, but yeah, I don't.
To come and share their.
I think it's funny. Dude, imagine if MatPat sent a message to all of his content creator friends like, "Hey man, I'm gonna do this one thing. Can you meet me here?" And what is it? And it's super important for content creators. And Pokemon was the only one that answered the email. It's like, but imagine if it was like that way. I'm like, bro, imagine all the things you see of like the negativity that Pokemon has justifiably earned, and then she's the only one that answered that email. Bro, that'd be crazy. Imagine. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just, it'd be crazy to me. What? The girl behind the black woman in the banana suit is MatPat's wife. Oh, is it? This one right here? Or this one right here? This one? Probably this one. Maybe 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 that one. Maybe that one right there. I don't think that's a woman. No, I'm just kidding. But it's I don't doubt it. But still, like, I would highly believe his wife being there, right? But just seeing, I mean, I don't know. I don't recognize anyone else on there as like influencers and things. No, the white chick, Stephanie. Her name's Stephanie. Damn. But yeah, okay. I was yeah, I don't really recognize anybody as like content creators or anything like that. Not that I know of, but damn it, can you imagine that, man? Imagine that the Pokemon was the only one that answered that email of something like this. But that'd be crazy. Anyway.
Their stories, share their concerns, share their experiences with members of Congress. I think it's a great opening, and it's a great opportunity to be able to partner with the industry as opposed to trying to define the industry.
They want to partner with the industry, not actually define it. And that's a very healthy perspective to look at for this entire situation. If lawmakers were opting for a complete hands-on approach where they decided how exactly the...
Wasn't MatPat's wife also a content creator as well?
creator industry would function, it just wouldn't work. The online space, it's too sporadic, it's too irregular, and politicians will just make that worse. Also, keep in mind as well, like being an e-celeb, like a YouTuber, it still is a relatively new industry. YouTube is really only around 20 years old. I know a lot of...
It is. And you want to know why I know YouTube is 20 years old? Because I literally got an email from YouTube saying, hey, let's celebrate YouTube being 20 years old. I literally got that email. Hold on, I'll look at it. No, that's not it. Here it is. It's YouTube's 20th birthday celebration. Get a peek at how we look ahead towards a future creation. All that stuff. But yeah. Yeah, she was also in an episode of Game Theory. Oh, okay.
Of you are saying only, calling me an unk. I mean, I am pushing 30, it's over. But again, 20 years for a platform to exist really is not a lot of time. Like, for example, in the way 2009, people would watch PewDiePie screaming at barrels.
All right, let's get the... barrels! You fuck!
And those people probably never would have imagined a man with Crohn's disease would actually create one of the most hit TV shows on Amazon, where he gave away $10 million. I'm just hoping that with this whole kind of map...
Wait, PewDiePie has Crohn's disease?
Pat law, we're going to call it the MatPat law. There's like a more pragmatic approach to how the government creates policies concerning creators themselves. So if you're wondering, was this entire video me basically ranting about how hard it is being a YouTuber?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's, that's cool, man. I do think that there needs to be some regularities, you know, for content creation in terms of like things, you know, especially like it's interesting because not being access to like governmental things and other things for like tax, you know, for taxes and such. I'm like, no, I think no matter what, if you're someone that you know that marks themselves as an independent business and things like that, because that's what you have to do to establish what's the thing called LLCs. And so seeing that MatPat is making it where that you know people who have practically these you know these LLCs that are like independents, you know, businesses and such, especially if it's just like one employee, you know, hence content creator slash influencer. um I think it is great that they will have more access to things like that, and also having you know certain things you know more regulated and things like that, where doing YouTube and things like this don't, it doesn't have to be so volatile, where and that was always the issue that I've always heard people say all the time about content creation, is that you have to well, now I guess it is a little bit different. I think YouTube has laid off a little bit on like what is on words you can say, just a little bit. But before, you know, you practically had to navigate like as if you're walking on thin ice pretty much. You know, or walking on eggshells and such. And so I'm glad that if this actually does go forward, I'm not saying that people should just completely just march on like stomping, you know, their way through whatever. But what I'm saying is that people don't have to, you know, worry, you know, through the navigation of content creation and such. So I think it'll be fine for that. Uh, uh, so yeah, with this in the pipeline of development, you could basically do more creative, dumb things for content now. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the thing about it, and that's the thing too, is like being a you know having it. And the other thing that actually sparked my interest was that they mentioned that you'll be able to know the way how the algorithm works and things like that, because people have to speculate and guess how the algorithm works, because before it used to be like, oh, YouTube streams long, you know, long formats, some other stuff. And like and you know, before it was like short videos, now it's longer videos, now it's even more longer videos, and then now it became to the point of like Twitch streams, not Twitch streams, like YouTube streams, and it's like some other stuff. It's like no one did what is it, it's just that you always have you always like there's never consistencies in any of these things that what is that that go on the platform.